Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Pints in Places. As you can see today, we're kind of just in a random field, I guess. Thought it'd be quite a fitting way to start my, series. I don't know what this actually is. If it's a podcast or if it's I don't really know what to call it, if it's a podcast or if it's a show or whatever. But basically, what I'm planning on doing is once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'll sit in a field, in a forest, in a car, on a beach. Maybe not in a car, because it's going to be called Pints in Places for a reason. We are having a little drink. But basically, it's just a way for me to kind of get away and do something. Basically, I've been thinking, I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and I've just been waiting. So finally, this is me starting. I've been holding off on this for so long now, and I'm just pretty glad to just get it over and done with, just get it going. Got a bit of a dodgy setup right now. I've had to steal my little sister's laptop, because my laptop, I couldn't download anything on it. It's a 2014 MacBook Air, so it's a bit past its best, unfortunately, and I couldn't drag my PC out here because we've not got any plugs. So if someone can get me in touch with someone who has an extension cable that long that I can take my whole PC setup out here, then yeah, sure, get me in touch with them. But at the moment, we're just gonna have to work with this. I've got my mic here. This is just my regular mic. I'm really praying to God that the audio is okay, because I'm right next to a motorway. But I wanted a place in the middle, obviously, because it's my first episode, I'm not wanting to film right out in public, in a public space. I was wanting somewhere a bit more private. People still walk here, so I've been trying to think of a lie or a story to come up with if someone comes and asks me what I'm doing. So I'll have to make it pretty believable. So, where are we? We are in Perth. So, we're just in a random ass field. We're in a random field in the middle of Perth. And yeah, I love it, really. I really do. There's already a truck slowed down, a van slowing down. Probably trying to see what I'm doing. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're just going to drive past. But also, I can see the farmer's house up here. I didn't really think of that. But hey, they should be okay. I walked on this many a time, so it should be fine. But yeah, we're just in a random field in the middle of Perth, in Scotland, and it's actually a nice day today. The weather recently, we are now in October. We're midway through the month now, which is crazy to say that we're almost in November. It's just been such a fast year, and we've had so much going on recently, just in my personal life as well. But yeah, I feel as though I'm not really doing much at the moment. I think this is quite a good avenue for me to just express my feelings, tell some funny stories, talk with people. I'm planning, I do plan eventually to, if it takes off a wee bit, to get some folk on, to get some different people on. But I think most weeks it will just be myself, which I think I like. I think it's nice for me, to share whatever random stuff I want to share with you guys. And I hope that's something you can enjoy. I hope that's something that you guys will be interested in, because certainly for myself, I think it's good. But yeah, recently I've not really been doing much. I think that's really what's pushed me to do this. I really just work and speak with my girlfriend basically every day. I'm in a long distance relationship, which I know some people might have reserved judgments about, but we met in person. She before we actually started dating, we met before we had even talked. But yeah, in July 2022, I went over and I went over to visit some friends that I'd met through streaming and through just being online and stuff. So decided to meet up with them, and it was a perfect excuse. I just finished, COVID was kind of over at that stage. Actually, it was very much over. There was still some restrictions, but it was definitely coming to the end. And I was like, you know what, I really want to travel. What a better time, I just saved up working for a year as a barista, which is one of my few skills. I can make a okay latte. It was like a sort of a fast cafe experience rather than a proper barista coffee latte art. It wasn't really anything like that, but I can make an okay. I know how to make a flat white. I can make an Americano. I think everyone can do that, though. I don't think that's as impressive, but I can do a few different things. I can do the cappuccino. But yeah, I decided the best way to spend my money that I'd saved up working, part-time for a whole year was to go to Singapore. And I was going to go start in Singapore. I was going to go all the way up to Malaysia, up through Thailand, maybe go to Vietnam. I was planning on doing all this stuff, possibly even going to Australia. I went with hardly any money. I had no travel experience. I just went. I was thinking back on it now, because I've travelled quite a lot more, obviously, with my relationship, but looking back on it, I had no clue what I was doing. I spent £800 on a one-way flight straight to Singapore. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to get a hotel room as well. Like, I'm solo travelling, like, realistically, but I was struggling with not having home comforts, so I bought well, to be honest, I think it's the most expensive hotel I've ever stayed in Singapore. It wasn't nice, but now I just know where to look. So I've actually been in nicer places, but for cheaper. But I just picked one place in the central area. I picked it in Orchard Road, which is this sort of the main shopping street of Singapore. It's got pubs, it's got clubs and that, and I stayed there for 2.5-3 weeks, and I had no money. So the plan was that I would stay there for 5 days. That I would stay in Singapore for 5 days. But yeah, then I met my girlfriend, in Singapore on day 4 or 5, and I was like, I cannot, I just had so much fun. I was having the time of my life. It was just after COVID. I'd moved away from my friends, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay here longer because I'm really enjoying my time here. And then we ended up kind of almost over the next 2 weeks of me being there, we pretty much developed a whole relationship. And it was really, really nice. And obviously that first time leaving was so brutal because I had no clue if we were going to see each other again. So that was really tough. I didn't actually write down in my notes that I was going to talk about my relationship. Anyways, but yeah, so I really haven't been doing much other than talking to my girlfriend at the moment. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start something now. And this is what I'm going to start doing. So yeah, as I said, once or twice, once every week or once every 2 weeks, I'll try and get one out to you guys. I'm actually really enjoying it. I thought I was going to be more uncomfortable, but yes, right, this is what we're on to, the good stuff. We have here Tennent's Lager, which is absolutely amazing from the tap. Oh my god, you cannot get a better lager than Tennent's from the tap. I'm going to be honest. I have been, to many a country, I've been to many a bar, I've been to many a pub, and honestly, nothing beats on a summer day, in Edinburgh, right, or before the football, you go up to the barman and you go, barman, can I get a pint of Tennent's, please? And he just pours it, and it's glorious. But I have a can which you will only see delinquents and Neds drinking. Right? These are the only people that drink Tennent's from a can, because the can experience is by far the worst. By far the worst. I don't think I've tried another beer that's tasted so different from tap to taste bud to can, right? genuinely, the can Tennent's is absolutely awful. I hate it. I actually bought this can yesterday. I've put it in the fridge, so this one should be nice and cool. Hopefully that makes it a bit better. But we've got another one in here that is lukewarm. This one has been sitting out since the summer. I decided, with Scotland being at the Euros, I'd buy some Tennent's cans whilst I was away. I was up just having a wee holiday up in the Highlands, and I decided to bring some cans because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find a pub. We're staying in quite a recluse area, so. But yes, we're going to give this a go. I know from a can it is awful, but from tap it is great. I think I'm going to start a tier list as well on all the beers that I drink. In each episode it's going to hopefully be a different beer, and if not, I'll bounce in between some. The plan is to, when I get guests on, is they're going to have their favourite beer and they're going to come on, and I've just tried to open it. A little bit of foamage there, but hey, no danger in that. I was seeing if you guys could hear any of that. No danger in a bit of foamage. Let's give it a little slurp, and I can already smell it. It smells like absolute pish, but we'll just give it a go. Tell you what, cool, like chilled, actually not bad. Wow, I am so surprised. I've only had it a couple of times from the can, and it was awful. I swear to God, each and every time it was awful. I don't know if I've had a different can or what not, but that doesn't taste like absolute pish. It's not great. I wouldn't, have it in my top 5 or top 10 even. So Tennent's, right? Okay, let me just preface. Tennent's in a tap is A tier or S tier, right? It's the top tier. But Tennent's in a can surprised me actually. So I was ready to put in like E or D or F, whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna put in a C, because yeah, it's better than I thought it was gonna be, but my expectations of it were super, super low. So actually not too bad. Tennent's, you're going in C. And I'm going to preface that in a can. Maybe later on in another episode we'll get it from a tap, and I guarantee every single time I've had it, it has been my absolute favourite. It's been my absolute favourite beer or lager, whatever you want to call it. Yes, we are filming in Perth, and I've got a wee fact about Perth, a fun fact, shall we just say. So I have got this off the internet, so if it is not true or there's something a bit off with it, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is what I've got. So in Perth, Scotland. So this is a fun, interesting fact, or fun story. It'll be different for each episode, but I thought I'd just start on a fun one, a quirky one. So in Perth, Scotland, there's a case that involves Helen Torrance and Jean Walde, also known as the Witches of Perth. We're starting strong here. In the 17th century, the two women were accused of witchcraft and supposedly caused the death of a man by using magical means. And I know, bloody hell, folk in Scotland were living in caves in the 16th century, so it doesn't really surprise me that in the 17th century, actually people in Scotland might have been living up in caves, I think, until the 18th century, so it really doesn't surprise me. At the same time folk were just banging about in caves, right, that people were also believing in witchcraft. And I'm not denying that witchcraft, there may be some form of it out there. I'm not really a massive conspiracy theorist, but there might be. And the sun is coming down, it's coming right into my eyes, and I don't know whether I should move. I don't think I will. But I don't really believe that. But yeah, the two women were accused of witchcraft, and what they were accused of is they turned themselves into cats to sneak into homes and to kill livestock. So sheep running about the field. As you can tell, Perth is it's just all farmers. I'm going to be honest. I'm not from Perth. I moved here and it is just all farmland. All around me is farms. So I think St Johnstone, which are the football team in Perth, I think that they get like called farmers and that. But yeah, so they were accused of killing livestock and turning themselves into cats to sneak in people's houses. So, you can imagine these folk were a wee bit funky. So despite the outlandish claims, the belief in witchcraft was so strong at the time that the women were executed. They killed these women because some guy just went, I see Margaret downtown. She's definitely a witch. God, can you get rid of so many annoying people today? See that Nigel Farage? He's a wizard. Get him gone. I feel as though we need to maybe we need to start bringing stuff like that. Okay, I'm not going to continue. But yeah, that's an absolute crazy story. And it's a fun fact. I didn't even know about that. I was researching earlier, interesting cases, legal cases, interesting facts. I couldn't really find. Well, obviously Perth is a historical place. Been many a battle in Perth. I could have gotten something down there, and maybe I will in a future episode. A lot of the, because I live in Perth, a lot of the episodes are going to be in here. So maybe I'll get onto different facts and interesting facts in each episode. But I just thought that one to start off with an absolute bang. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be honest. That is a brilliant fact. So, as I said earlier, it's October 19th. So, which means Halloween's only, 11 days away? 12 days away even? Sorry, bad maths. And personally, that does not excite me. I hate Halloween. I never, even as a child, maybe until I was like 5, I maybe enjoyed it, but I have no memory of me enjoying Halloween at all. Maybe until I was older, then I started to enjoy it a bit more. But even then, it was always my least favourite time of year. Easter, you get bloody chocolate eggs, so I'm not complaining about that. Christmas, it's Christmas, and then, I think that's about it, to be fair. There's not really much else. There's summer, obviously, which is just fantastic, good weather. But Christmas, it's one, it's that week leading up to Christmas. It's just family time or spending time with your loved ones, which is just so important. But Halloween is one night, and you're just there to scare folk, and it's just really annoying because Halloween costumes are super expensive, and yeah, I just hate it. I bloody hate Halloween. I sound like we need to make up a Halloween version of Scrooge, because that's me. I'm that guy. I hate Halloween. But yeah, we got a wee bug on me. I guess that's the best thing about filming outside. I don't know whether I should move into the shade or not. I'm starting to get more and more blind as this goes on. I'm more and more poking out. I'm sure I'm glowing in the sun. Welcome back. The camera died as was to be expected. I was kind of waiting on it to die. So the camera died. We have moved just a few meters over here. So hopefully the sun doesn't come down. I know it's just right above the trees. Actually, I just looked and it's right there. So it might get me, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. I think it is starting to go down. Oh yeah, Scrooge, Halloween. Yes, I am that guy. I'm just going to stop trying to put... There's probably going to be a compilation of me on TikTok already, me trying to put my fucking phone in my pocket. But yeah, I think I've got to the reason as to why I don't like Halloween. And it all started with older boys from my school. So it's not as it sounds. I think nothing too heinous occurred. But basically, when I would have been about 5 or 6. So, pardon me. When I was like 7, I used to go to a childminders who basically it was just this lady who had a big house, and she was retired, and she was like, yeah, I can look after kids as well, to make a ton of money. And she was great. Yeah, her grandson was a good few years older than me. He was probably a good 4 or 5 years older than me, I'd say, because he would have been in primary 7, and I would have been in P2, so 5 years. Basically him and his best pals, he was alright, it was his best pals, basically decided what would be really funny is, because I was hanging around, I thought, you know how it is when you're a child and there's your older boys and you're like, yeah, wanting to hang around, and because it was like a family friend situation, he, the older, the grandson kind of had to have me around, so then I thought I was like best pals with him, when really he probably just wanted to tell me to go away, but he couldn't because he would get into trouble, which, is what it is. And basically these guys, I don't know why, still to this day, but these guys basically were like, what would be really funny is if we just egg his house and like target, but it felt like it was targeted. They definitely came up to my to my house because it was me, basically. I still to this day think that. So yeah, I've got a bad history with Halloween, and basically they decided to egg my house. I was out, luckily. I was away at like Cubs, but when I came back home, my door had been egged, my windows like absolutely destroyed. Like, not destroyed as in, but my house had been pelted like a lot. The door actually, the egg never fully came off. Like, I don't know how, but like there was a bit of yolk that, I think it was because we had just like painted the door, which honestly, what are you thinking, guys? Painting the door just before Halloween, like, think it. But the egg, like the yolk, became ingrained, and there was this little yellow like yolk bit, the streak of yolk that went down, and it was preserved, I think, because of the paint that was like through it, the mix of the chemicals. But yeah, so the egg, and I think that traumatized me, and I think that they tried to do like, oh, what's the time thing with my next door neighbour, like, oh, excuse me, have you got the time? And then like the person goes into their house, and then you like run up the stairs and then try and stay in the house for as long as possible. You don't steal anything, you don't break anything, you like try and run around the house as much as possible before getting caught. I don't know, I never played that, but apparently that was a thing. And yeah, they tried to do that to my next door neighbour. She was a bit smarter, she closed the door, locked it behind her. My dad seen it, and he basically got in his car, mounted the car like to scare them, like revved his car. They obviously shot it, sprant. Oh, English is not my first language, by the way. Unfortunately it is. I don't speak any other languages either. But yeah, the main guy, the guy that kind of had a bit of an issue with me, or just like thought it was annoying, which again, I fully get it, that's fair, but he jumped up, tried to sprint away, and my dad like opened the door to like shout at them, and the boy just ran straight into my dad's car as he was opening the door. So my dad had a little dent in his door, but maybe he just told me that, now I'm thinking about it, maybe he just told me that story to make me feel better about the situation. So I think that's why I've kind of got a bit of an issue with Halloween. I don't like the idea of being physically scared. Like, the people that really I don't get in life are like actors that work at scare houses. Like, generally I don't get maybe I actually do, like, thinking about it now, I do understand like how funny it would be to just like traumatize someone, like, in terms of, and get paid to do it. Like, you are getting paid to just like scare the fuck out of someone. So no, I do get it. When I was younger I didn't, but now I'm older, yeah, I'm just not a fan of Halloween. I'm not, now it's more the fact that children are annoying rather than being really scared. I was a scared child as well. I was a really scared child. Like, literally anything didn't go right, I was just scared. So yeah, maybe that's what it was. Anything that went wrong in my life was just a crazy event to me. Maybe I think that might have been the issue. So yeah, Halloween. Fuck Halloween, but not really. I'm not too bothered. Yeah. So I just came back from traveling to see my girlfriend. It's actually our 2-year anniversary. We've just had it. I've been back like about a month now. Yeah, actually, yeah, a month, a couple of days ago, exactly. And had an absolutely fantastic time. I went to Singapore for 4 days. Met with our family, met with my friends. I hadn't met them in 2 years since meeting my girlfriend, so it was really nice to go back and see them. That was a really nice moment. I managed to get to see most of the folk that I wanted to see out there. I do wish I could stay in Singapore for longer. Each time I'm there, it's just, it's my favourite country in the world. Like the people, just the place in general. Like, it's hot, it's sunny, it's humid, but it's nowhere near as humid as like Kuala Lumpur. I don't know why. The heat in Kuala Lumpur affects me a lot more than the heat in Singapore. I don't know, but it just does. But yeah, so I went to Singapore for 4 days. Then I went to Kuala Lumpur for one night for my anniversary, because Singapore is super expensive. So we were going to stay in our favourite hotel, which is the Traders Hotel in Kuala Lumpur. It's got this amazing view of the KLCC, which is the Petronas Towers. Got an amazing view there. We stayed there for one night and then had our anniversary dinner, and it was really nice. I had a few drinks, and it was just a really nice and romantic evening for us both. Then the day after, so we only stayed there for one day. The day after that, we went to Krabi in Thailand. So we flew from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, then stayed in Kuala Lumpur for just the one day pretty much, and then in the morning got up, flew to Krabi. There was a 4-hour delay on that flight from Kuala Lumpur to Krabi. AirAsia, I have a problem with you. We were there on time. So we got there and we were like, right, so what were we supposed to do for the next 3 hours? Then they opened boarding. That's the thing. They opened boarding, and in Kuala Lumpur, the airport in Kuala Lumpur, you go into these sort of pods, like just before boarding, and it's just seats, like no toilet, no nothing. They had us stuck in there for like 3 hours, and they just kept on pushing back the boarding time, and we were like, eventually they did let us out to the toilet because enough people kicked up a fuss, but I don't know what they were thinking, that they were just going to hold us there. We had to give them our boarding pass, and then we could go around, and then we'd have to show them the passport, and then they would give us our boarding pass back. So it was, security proof, I guess, kind of. And if they were planning on holding us for 3 hours, then why not just not keep us there? Because there was a lot of people. There ended up being 2 flights in the same pod as well, because the next flight came around to be scheduled, and they just continued boarding for that flight as well. So it was like that pod had 2 different flight groups in it, and it was very odd. But yeah, we eventually got to Krabi. You got PB Islands, you got the R9 beach. Oh my god, it's going to be amazing. You got bars, you got restaurants, amazing. We got there, and the weather was actually worse than it is right now in Scotland. Genuinely, the weather, and I know we knew going into it that it was not the time of year to go, but I still kind of expected heat. I don't know. I think it was as well. It was because I'd come from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur there, and they're still quite hot. Their weather doesn't change a lot. They don't really get a rainy or dry season. They do a little bit, but it's nowhere near the same as Krabi. But yeah, we went to this lovely hotel, and it was just raining the whole time. I'm going to be honest, it was raining the whole time. Right, well, I'm going to have to do this without my notes. I had my notes on my phone, but now I'm recording with my phone, so that's great. I don't know why my camera died so fast. I'm going to have to think of that for another episode. But yeah, I'm finishing this beer off. Yeah, so we got to Krabi, and it was, it was nice. It was beautiful. The beaches were nice, and you could see that, and there was this great limestone cliffs, and stuff like that, you could clearly see that the place was beautiful. And I was like, I just wish we'd come at a different time, because the weather just was not the one for that moment in time, which is unfortunate. But I don't know if you know this about Thailand, but they sell some funky stuff in Thailand, and this is going to be the final story of the episode, but it's a big one. It's quite traumatizing. It's quite traumatizing, actually. But yeah, we were going to bars, we were going to different bars, and we seen this leaf. There's this leaf on a lot of buildings, and there was like I think it was called the Reggae Bar. I think that's where we went, in Krabi, Thailand. You will know, if you've been there, you will know what the Reggae Bar is. You can imagine what it is. And they did there was an interesting plant that is legal in Thailand, and I was like, maybe I think I want to give it a go. I'd never touched any of that stuff before, not my thing personally, but I've always been super like, nah, I'm not, like, maybe yes, but probably no. And if I'm offered anything, I'm like, nah, I don't want it. I want to do it on my own terms. So these were my terms, bearing in mind I'm already very, what's the word? Like, I'm very cautious, right? A lot of the time I'm a cautious guy when it comes to things. But this time I maybe wasn't cautious enough. We were at this reggae bar, and we'd been to this restaurant before. We'd had a couple drinks, maybe 2 drinks, 2 cocktails, and then we'd had a couple beers at that same place, so probably 4 drinks down now. Went to this reggae bar. We were like, they've got great games. They've got a Connect 4. They've got I've seen different couples playing different games, but we were playing Connect 4, and we were having strawberry daiquiris, and they were packed with alcohol. I don't know, I think it was vodka mostly, but I actually don't know what goes into a daiquiri, let me know. But yeah, we were drinking. I think I'd had about another like 3 or 4 of those, and I drink fast, like maybe not with this, but like if I'm focusing on drinking, if I'm at a bar and I'm just like nervous or whatever, or just doing whatever, I'll be drinking down. But yeah, so we were at this bar. We had a few daiquiris, and I was like, it was like our last few days there as well, and we hadn't really done much. As I said, the weather was bad. I literally had got a scooter, right? Paid for it, put the deposit down. Never driven a scooter before. Rode it twice. Once taking it away from the dealership, and once driving it back. And it was because it was raining so much, I was not confident enough to drive it. And you're like, oh, pussy. I only had it for a couple of days, right? So I was like, all right, I'll just send it back, because I just wanted my deposit back. I just wanted my money back. I was in quite a bad mood when I was there, after what had happened on this night. So, a few daiquiris down, I was like, oh god, I should just go for it. But I don't want to smoke. I don't like smoking. And it was really smelly, as you guys will know, it's really smelly. So I was like, first time I don't want to smoke it, because I just think it's gross, and I'll end up throwing up through smoking it. I knew that. I was like, I'm not smoking it. So I thought, what do I like? I like cupcakes, I like cookies, I like brownies. I like brownies. So I decided to get a brownie. And I went up, I was like, this is my first time ever doing something, what would you recommend? If I'm not wanting to smoke it, what would you recommend? He was like, oh, brownie's fine, whatever. And I was like, so like, how much should I eat? Because I'm like, surely it's not the whole thing, like, it's first ever time. I didn't know what the milligrams meant. I think it was like, I don't even know, 10 or 14, I'm pretty sure, for my first ever time. And I was like, right, so what would you recommend? What would you recommend I have? He was like, eat half, and then in another, give it a few minutes, and then eat another half. I was like, a few minutes? Really? I was like, but I don't know this stuff. But it did sound weird to me, but I was drunk as well. Oh my God, I was drunk when I bought this. So it was like, really, I shouldn't have done it. But I was drunk and I got it. And I was like, you know what, so I ate half. Oh my God, the driest thing I have ever tasted in my life. And as as you're drunk, time doesn't really work the same. You're really, you're like a child again. You're like, oh, it's been a minute. That's been 5 minutes. You look at your clock, it's been 1 minute, and then you look at it, it's been 10. You're really quick and really bad at judgment. So I misjudged. Well, I didn't misjudge. I actually stuck to the 5 minutes because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to muck about, because if it's bad, I would rather it be bad on half than be bad on full. But I wait the 5 minutes. I didn't feel anything. I was like, right, you know what? It doesn't sound right that he's telling me to wait 5 minutes, so I'm going to wait 10. I didn't feel anything that time. So I was like, right, you know what? Maybe it's just a really low dosage, because I didn't know the dosage. So I had the brownie, and I felt fine. So I finished off my last daiquiri. I was like, you know what, let's go. I was really drunk as well, so I was like, oh, let's go. So as I was walking, we went to this restaurant to pick up some like chicken wings, Thai chicken wings, and all I can remember is just really annoying my girlfriend the whole time, and she was getting mad at me. I was like, babe, you cannot get mad at me right now. I understand, like, I'm just acting wacky and stuff, like I'm acting weird, but you have to understand this is my first time doing this. So please, like, understand and just try and just be there for me if something happens. And thank God I said that. I got her back inside, and we got the chicken wings, and we went up to the room. I was laughing at this stage. Anything. It was just so funny. I was just laughing at lights. I was just laughing at like cars and that. There was like this guy riding on the back of a moped, and he had a funny haircut. I was crying. I was pissing myself laughing. We got back to the room. I was just having a great time. I sat down, and that scene from Get Out where the guy is like sitting in the chair and then he just like falls through it. That is what happened to me. That is what I felt. I was like, whoa. I put my head back. Just couldn't move. I was on the corner of the bed as well, so I was like halfway off it, like that, halfway off the bed, and my girlfriend was like, right, come on babe, can I get up on bed? I was like, I would if I could. I can't move right now. It's like, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. Oh no. So eventually, after probably like a minute, I managed to shift myself back. I didn't get up and go walk over. I managed to shift myself back. I kind of curled up like onto my side, and that's when everything just started spinning. Whoa, faster, and I was like, oh fuck, oh no, I'm not having a good time here. And inevitably, I knew it was coming. I was like, I knew I was gonna throw up, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna be sick. And she was like, right, move. I'm like, are you gonna? Blah. Sick everywhere, all over the bed. Oh God, I'm so sorry to the people that had to clean the bed, which is a story I'll continue on. So I then, as soon as you're sick, you're kind of able to move around. Like, I was sick, and I was like, oh God, I'll get up. I got up sick again off the end of the bed, right onto the floor everywhere. My girlfriend gets up like, oh my God, got a bucket. And at this stage, the worst of the sick scenario was over. I then could not move from this position. Like, I was here, I was holding a bucket like this every minute pretty much. Like, I could not stop. I would close my eyes as well. The light was really affecting me, so I closed my eyes, and I couldn't physically open my eyes. I was like, oh no. Like, I just couldn't open my eyes, but I was being sick, and I was like, babe, I can't open my eyes. That's so funny. Like, make fun of me all you want, right? But this is a true story, right? So I was being sick over then, and then I hear my girlfriend calling someone. I'm like, who are you calling? Who are you calling? She's like, oh, I'm calling reception because we need to get the bed cleaned and get all the mess of the floor. I was like, no, don't call them. Oh my god, do not call reception right now. I cannot feel anything. I cannot move. I don't know where I am. My head, it's just, I'm going in and out. That's the thing. I would come into consciousness and be able to say, I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on. Like, I cannot control what is happening to me right now. And I would just throw up, and then I would go back into this everywhere sort of state. It was so bad. It was so bad. And then, oh god. And then oh god. Sorry. And then I remember having my eyes closed, and then I think I fell asleep or something, or just time just skipped. That's the thing, time would go really slow, then time would skip. So the time skipped. And I remember feeling my head, and I was just wet. I was just drenched, and I went from being like dry, regular, to just being absolutely wet, and like I felt myself like shaking. Like I didn't feel cold or I didn't feel anything, but my body was just like vibrating. I was like, but I felt my face, like, oh my god, what's happening? Like I literally did that. I looked at the sweat. I was like, just like you'd run your hand under the tap. It was so bad. My girlfriend then. There was an alarm on the door, because I think the doors in that hotel were a bit stiff. So if the door was like on the hinge a little bit, so if it wasn't fully closed or fully opened, an alarm would sound. And I don't know why, in this moment, my girlfriend decided to just lose all strength. She could not physically open the door. We were getting a bang bong at the door from the people who wanted to clean the bed. And I was just like this, like I couldn't open my eyes. Still at this stage, my eyes were just shut. She couldn't open this door. So I was like, oh my god, she couldn't open the door. I heard it crunching, the handle. And then who would be the of the alarm, and it was the worst experience of my life. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die at that moment. I was like, babe, open the fucking door. Open the door. And she just couldn't. I don't know why. Eventually got it open. The people on the outside didn't really know what was going on, so they didn't know to like try and push their way in. So they came in. They were like, oh my god, I heard them, and I still remember it. That's the thing, I can remember everything, well, most of it. Obviously there's parts where I just like probably fell asleep or whatever. So then eventually I got put outside. We had a balcony, so my girlfriend managed to get me outside. And I remember just sitting down in a chair like this, just like that, just where I've been. And I don't know how long it lasted. I think it lasted from I think my girlfriend told me it was like from 12 till 2. So this was 2 hours. It felt so much longer though than 2 hours. Like the worst of it. But yeah, I was just being sick, like not able to open my eyes. Then I was able to open my eyes. I was able to communicate with my girlfriend. I was just sick again. Just absolute worst experience of my life. They managed to get it cleaned up. I felt so bad. I tipped at the end, like heavily tipped. I was gonna give them a decent tip at the end anyway, but I gave a good tip at the end for what I had. And yeah, that's my story with the brownie. And I will never be doing that sort of stuff ever again. I did it once. I think if one time's going to put you off forever, that's going to be the time. I'm going to see off this tenants, and I think that's going to be it for episode 1. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's like beautiful view. I think you guys, I don't know if they caught it on that camera, but you can catch it on this camera. You can see the view of the hill up there. So beautiful. I love this place. I used to come on here 2020 during lockdown, like the winter lockdown, and it snowed so much. So imagine all those trees of snow. I'll come back here in December if it snows. We'll do another podcast here or show. I don't know what it is. I think I'm going to call it a podcast. Everyone has a podcast these days. Why not me? But yeah, I genuinely appreciate everyone who's came to watch, anyone who supports, anyone who comments, anyone who likes. especially who subscribes. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week. I don't know when. I need to figure out a schedule of when I'm gonna film. But guys, I really appreciate everyone for joining in and coming in. It was really fun. It was a lot more fun. I've kind of been holding this off for a long time, so it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, just rambling to a camera for an hour. It's been an hour and 3, 2, 1 hour officially. I know it might not be on the video because there's been some cuts and stuff where I had to move the thing. I didn't stop the recording the whole time. Hopefully it's not 1 hour of traffic. Hopefully it's 1 hour. But yeah, let's just finish the beer off and I'll give it a rating, final rating. So that was the score from the first sip. This is the last sip. Wow. Last sip done. It got more dodgy towards the end, which is quite common with beers in a can, lagers in a can. To be honest, anything in a can, it gets a little bit dodgy towards the end. I think we're just going to stick it in C plus, if I've got that. Top end of C. Because I think there's going to be some stinkers that will still be in C, because they're not quite bad enough to be at the bottom tier. 4 tiers, A, B, C, F. Hopefully that was a nice one for you. Right, thank you guys so much for watching. I just appreciate I appreciate myself for doing this as well. It's so good. But yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. See you soon.
Smoke like 2 out of 10.